Welcome to Kimmick Gaming. I'm your host, Kimmick, and this is my first Zelda War video featuring hands-on gameplay from the newest entry in the Zelda series, Tears of the Kingdom. I capture footage as I play, and may have equipment or armor that some players haven't seen. That said, I will not be lore diving into any main quest content yet. The game has been out for less than a month. While I have made time to play for an unseemly number of hours since its release, I realize that not everyone has invested that much time into the new legend. Before I forget, Sidon, would you do the honors and welcome everyone back to the channel?
It's good to see you, my friend.
Thanks. That was perfect. A few quick notes about this particular lore video. I will not be making any special accommodations to hide game content from viewers who want a spoiler-free experience. If you're looking for something like that, I recommend checking out my Wagon Ride with Parga video that I should be uploading along with this video later today. With this in mind, I will limit the first few dives into the subtle exposition and the various ways that Tears of the Kingdom tells us about the time between its own story and the previous story told by its predecessor, Breath of the Wild. So let's head into the old homestead and check out all of the little details. Upon entering Hateno Cottage for the first time, it would be easy to mistake the changes to the living space as changes in ownership. The weapon displays are gone, and in their place we find some framed photos. We have a photo of some strange creatures somewhere in the Farron region. There is also a photo of a golden horse near a stable. I have become distracted by the flower arrangement on the table. We'll come back to that. We have another photo, this time of a Hylian woman, standing in a field of flowers. I am incredibly distracted by the flower arrangement. I hadn't noticed this detail on my first time through the cottage, so now I'm a little bit fixated, I guess is the right word. And our final photo is of a Hylian man standing proudly next to a white goat. Let's not forget that the only means of producing a photograph in this era of Hyrule comes from either the Sheikah Slate or the new Purapad. So even if we were unaware of the connection that each of these photos has to Princess Zelda, there is little denying that only someone with knowledge of and access to Sheikah technology could have provided these photos. Then of course there is the Champion's photo. While the downstairs has undergone some minor changes, the upstairs remains mostly the same as Breath of the Wild, with the exception of this journal. Let's take a look. After the calamity, I asked myself how to rebuild and set out across Hyrule in search of an answer. I saw collapsed buildings, lost cities. The damage was far worse than I had imagined. She goes on to say that she finds strength and hope in the unbreakable spirit of her people and how they've endured through all this hardship. The journal goes on to say that she will protect and support her people, beginning with the construction of a school here in Hateno Village. Zelda's admiration for Hateno Village is clear, and she all but admits that it's the perfect place to settle down. The journal goes on to state that she recruited Simon from Kakariko Village due to his experience working with quirky children, and then also recruited Bolson to build the school. Notably here, she has a side note about Bolson building a secret room for her so that she can concentrate when she wants to work alone. We are definitely going to check out that secret room, but first, let's let the rest of this journal play out and take a look at a few more details here inside the cottage that let us know that Link and Zelda are living here together. One common theory that I've heard is that Link gave the house to Zelda at some point after the events of Breath of the Wild, but I don't think so. She definitely moved into the cottage after the calamity, but Link still lives here too. and we're going to take a look at the evidence for that theory and explore what this cohabitation might mean for the relationship between the hero and the princess. The yellow flower found at Link's bedside in the Hateno cottage during Breath of the Wild is still found here during Tears of the Kingdom. But more importantly, the same flower is now found at a place at the table that also has a distinct blue plate seated for that particular occupant. While the repetition of the flower may not be enough evidence to convince everyone, what we will find in Zelda's secret room should be more than enough proof to convince most people that Zelda and Link have decided to live together. After a somewhat less than grand entrance, we can see that Zelda's secret room is really just a private study. As we take a look at Zelda's private diary, she reveals once again that she has traveled all across Hyrule, surveying all of the damage from the calamity, and during all this time, Link has remained at her side. There is no reason to believe that he would not have remained at her side while she taught school here in Hateno Village. She goes on to talk about the champion's tunic looking worn and tattered, and coming up with a plan for a replacement. There is no reason for Zelda to have a secret room or a private study if she lives in the house by herself. And even in this private place, if you come down here for the first time, you'll find a chest with an item, the well-worn hairband, indicating her emotional attachment and her desire to keep Link close, even when she wants to work alone and needs to concentrate. So Zelda and Link are living together in Hateno Village at the start of Tears of the Kingdom. It's a subtle detail, but an important one. It's not meant to be the focus of our new adventure. The Legend of Zelda has never really been about romance, but it's nice to know that such a natural evolution of this Link and Zelda's relationship was acknowledged in a respectful and tasteful manner. Now, it's time to find the pumpkins. If you missed out on my Zelda pumpkin theory, you may want to check that one out. There's a link in the description below. Longtime lore divers will already know what I mean, but I was immediately convinced after my first visit to the cottage that Hateno Village would certainly be the pumpkin growing capital of Hyrule. Imagine my delight when I discovered multiple pumpkin patches with more than one kind of pumpkin. Blessed by the goddess indeed. The pumpkin theory was not the only one to pan out so perfectly, though I will certainly admit that I missed the mark on several theories as well. I'm looking forward to reviewing some of those previous theories in light of the Tears of the Kingdom story, but that will have to wait for a true deep dive. Today's dive was just to get our feet wet, preparing for the lore dives to come. And there is so much more to explore, discover, and share with all of you. But those deep lore dives will have to wait a few more weeks. I don't want to spoil the story for anyone who hasn't yet finished it. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like to let me know. Also consider subscribing to the channel to stay notified of more Zelda lore content when it drops. And thank you all so much for watching.